I'm Airedale Bianchi.
Now, big welcome to Mr. Airedale. This is your first episode of The Rise.
It is my first episode. Not the first time I've been on internet radio, but it is my first episode on The Rise.
We are privileged with his presence and his expertise in the arts.
Oh, yes.
Fun times.
Now, if you guys want a little lesson out there, I'm sure Airedale will be more than happy to call.
Yes, I know about all sorts of things.
Like
art,
the lips.
literature, or anything you want to know. That's
the
right.
teeth.
The lips, the teeth, and the tongue. And the dog barks.
And that's our fourth member of the cast. That is Little Chihuahua. That's our little Chihuahua boy.
He's our mascot.
And for the last 30 minutes, he's just been staring at me like he wants to eat me. He's afraid of me.
He's been petrified of you.
I've never met a dog that didn't like me, and now all of a sudden I've got this little dog that wants to eat me. So
First time for everything.
No, speaking of like little mishaps with Airedale, oh, poor little me. I'm using my iPad. My iPad 2. What, your stylus broke? What happened? Like a little tip came off?
Yeah, the little rubber tit came off of it. It's a little tit, and you can't. And then I have my little mini one that I bought a couple of weeks ago, and it won't even work on the thing. So
he has a large black tit and a mini tit.
Yes.
And neither of them work.
They're
properly.
impotent tits.
We call him Biggie Smalls when he's
Well, we're sitting here. Let's see, there are 4 computers. We're sitting here. I've got a laptop, an iPod.
Technically, it's 3 computers and an iPad.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I could go get my iPad Nano, which is the iPod.
Is it the one that has the screen? Can you watch stuff on, or is the?
Yeah, it's touch. It's just like that, but just like this big.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow. It's got the camera and the whole bit.
Camera, front camera, back camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I just realized
it's an iPhone without the phone capability.
That's true.
I just realized how broke I feel. I'm the only person here without an eye something.
Pretty soon you'll notice the sound quality change. I'm sure we'll be working off a MacBook Pro in a couple weeks. And then Airedale's going to go out once he sees it and buy the new MacBook Pro Retina display, 15-inch, $5 million one. You know.
Well, I want the one that has the virtual keyboard.
All right. So what did you guys do this week? Anything fun?
Lots of fun things. Majority of the week spent in, we'll say, an educational facility. But a little before that, I went to a certain celebration in a nearby city. A certain celebration called Dragon Con in Atlanta. Yeah. Any thoughts here, people?
Yeah, I thought that you could have just simply said you're a college student.
But what fun is that?
I went to this educational facility.
For all they know, I'm a middle schooler with a very deep voice. They don't know that.
Chocolate rain.
Chocolate rain.
So what about you, Airedale? You do anything exciting this week?
I just put in my 45 hours. That was about it. Did get to see a really interesting wreck. One of those double trailer FedEx tractor trailer trucks totally flipped over.
Did it crush you?
Flipped over. No, it didn't crush me. It missed me. Although I did have an incident driving to work like 2 years ago. I'm just driving down the highway. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just doing my thing, listening to my radio, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, coming across the median is this like 1973 Cutlass, and it's spiraling like a football, and it lands on the roof right in front of my car. I managed to get stopped. And then, all the traffic pulls up, and I'm like, gee, so the guy in there's got to be dead, because it's like totally flat to the asphalt. So a bunch of us get out. There just happens to be a fire chief guy behind me, because his red light and stuff goes off. And we all get out and run over to the car, and the guy's not in the car. He actually was thrown out of the car onto the asphalt, and he's conscious. So
what?
Yep, he's conscious. Didn't get hurt, nothing. Just
that is crazy.
I know it.
You said a fire chief?
Yeah, there happened to be a fire chief.
Every wreck I have been in, and there's been 2. There's always been a firefighter there.
I mean,
I'm not talking about we call them. No, I'm talking about wreck happens. As soon as you get a car, fire person pulls up. I'm with the fire department. I'm calling.
Yeah, I mean, this guy turned on his lights. He grabbed his bag out of the back and goes running up to this guy. Are you all right, buddy? You all right, buddy? And it's just like, wow.
I'm starting to think it's kind of like a Matrix where they're playing in these wrecks just so they can have something to do.
So they can do something.
Yeah, that was planned for my morning's entertainment, I guess. So.
Well, all right, let's get into the show. I think Airedale, we've discussed the segment idea, and you're very familiar with how this show works. And he actually presented a good segment, so I'm going to let him run it up.
Yeah, I downloaded this app on my iPad. Ooh. Yes. Alright, so I downloaded this app called the Congressional Record, and it lets you know everything that the Congress is doing for like practically every second of their day. You can even get the prayer that they say in the House of Representatives and the Senate. You get all the bills that they introduced. And so one of the things I did, I just went to a random screen of the record and started looking at the bills that are being presented, or that were presented in August anyway. And I found this gem. Now, this is what our Congress is doing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they are doing. This is House of Representatives Bill 3412.
3412.
3412. To designate the facility of the United States Postal Service located at 1421 Veterans Memorial Drive in Abbeville, Louisiana, as the Sergeant Post Office Building.
I wonder how long they spent on that. They only dedicated, 3 days to determine that?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine the amount of paperwork, how many people were involved to just write that thing, how much printer ink was used, how much time it takes to vote on this? Seriously, we need Congress to change the names of post offices?
I bet Jimmy Stewart was up there going, you see, I got a filibuster because I knew this name passed today.
I don't even know who that was.
Hear this? We're gonna get some big fans sending us hate mail.
Yeah, I know.
How dare you!
The guy was probably a great American hero. I'm glad he was. I was in the military myself, so yeah, that's great. The only thing I'm criticizing is, why is Congress? Why do they have to be the one that changes the name of a post office?
Shouldn't that be like a local government thing?
It should be.
Or not even a local, like a town hall meeting. Who wants to change the name of the building? Me. Okay, it's done.
Or why can't the local postmaster decide that? I mean, really, we need how many
U.S.
guys are in? Yeah, the U.S. Congress to decide on the name of a post office.
And what town was that?
Abbeville. Well, that's not the only one. There's another one here in Canton, Mississippi.
Were those done the same day?
They're one bill right after the other.
Congress is getting crap done.
Yep, they're getting it done.
Critical hit boys over there trying to play with the fly.
He's got his chopsticks out. He's going to grab it with his chopsticks.
Laugh now. You wait until I do it. I'm going to do it one of these days, and y'all are going to have your minds explode.
Explode, people.
Explode.
A new word.
That was my word.
That's how epics
explode.
So anyway, that's my gripe for the week. We're worried about budget. We're worried about health care. We're worried about people being able to eat and get jobs. And yet our Congress is spending its time renaming post offices.
Yeah, because the budget isn't worth time. It's like, we'll fix that when the time comes.
Yeah.
Like,
we're only $17 trillion in debt.
Was it last year or the year before they were talking about like cutting public safety and all that good stuff, and like closing down national parks?
Oh yeah.
Because the budget was so effed up. Yeah. And now it's like, let's spend our days renaming a
post office. And speaking of the military, I'd rather have a larger army than newly named post offices. That's just my opinion.
I don't know. Those newly named post offices after the generals was pretty nice.
That's true.
There's some really nice post offices we're going to do.
All right, here's another gem. This is 7235. A letter from the Chief Counsel, Department of Homeland Security, transmitting the department's final rule. Final flood elevation determinations, received August 6, 2012. They're going to legislate on what's a flood and what's not a flood.
Well, if it rises 2 centimeters, it's only a semi-flood.
It's only a semi-flood.
Only flooding a little bit.
And I'm sure this goes back to insurance, because
that's what I was just thinking of. So it's like, well, you see, it didn't go up to your thermostat, so you don't get anything. You're not covered for
it was only 2 feet of water in your house, not 3. So, the damage is just not as bad. So you don't get anything.
It reminds you of the old car commercial. It's like, I hit a tree. Am I covered? Well, did you hit a ficus? Because all we cover is ficuses.
Did you read the small print?
All right. Anyhow, so earlier this week, I went up to Atlanta for a convention called DragonCon. It is this really, really big convention. It covers like 4 or 5 different hotels, the really big ones, like the Marriott, the Sheraton, all of them.
The Days Inn, the Hotel 6.
Days Inn,
The
Hotel
Best
6. We got those things just maxed out, right?
Gonna get free conventional continental breakfast,
Hey, the one we stayed at did give a continental breakfast. None of the big ones did, and that was a plus.
Really?
Yes, it was
Good.
All right, so it's a really, really big convention. It covers a massive area. It's got like just a huge number of blocks, like 5 of the biggest hotels in Atlanta. And really, there's just tons of things going on, lots of celebrities, just lots of things for almost everybody.
All right, I got to ask you this. Mm-hmm. Critical hit boy, I got to ask you this. Yes. How much money did you spend on this weekend?
All in all?
Before you even answer that, that's always been my thing. Like, you spend money, and you're not guaranteed to even experience anything. Because you just spend the money to get in. You don't know if you're going to even see anyone that's famous without having to pay more money to even get an autograph.
Yeah, because they charge for autographs?
They do charge for autographs. Unless you can happen to catch one of them like out in the bar or something like that, because they do that. The celebrities will come out, they'll get a drink and stuff like that. If you happen to catch them outside on their own, you can use.
So they're not followed by security? They don't have like 10 security guards?
They have handlers.
Pushing back. Speaking
of the handlers, though, who did you say? Wasn't it the guy that played Doc in Back to the Future?
It was Christopher Lloyd, he was a guest last year. Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
And we have some friends who they're friends with people who kind of work behind the scenes there. And they said he was bad about escaping from his handlers. He would, on purpose, he would try to get in a crowd and ditch his handlers to go out into the convention.
Wasn't there a movie where the president was always trying to get away from the Secret Service to go do his thing, My
Fellow Americans. And he ditched them in one spot.
Yeah.
That was funny. But, so how much did you spend, if you don't mind this?
Oh, around $1,000 area. After parking.
How many hours of entertainment was this?
4 days.
4 full days.
4 full days.
That includes hotel.
That includes hotel,
parking, continental breakfast,
ticket getting, anything I bought, autographs.
We got a box of Fruit Loops. Who was running the meeting with?
Actually, no.
Sarah Palin came down and delivered. Have you ever had Fruit Loops off of polar bears? It's so nice.
Alright, so I'm looking at the Dragon Con thing here, their guest list, and it's there were 7 or 8 people that didn't even show up.
Big names.
Big names that you were expecting to see, and you paid all this money, and then they didn't even show up. First of all, how do they get out of this? I mean, don't they make a contract? Don't they sign a contract and say, yes, I'm going to be there, and then at the last minute, I've got a migraine, I just don't think I can make it down.
Don Knotts is agree. Well, why are there so many people there? Well, I thought only 1,000 people were going to sign up. But no, I'm not going.
As far as the actual details of contracts and stuff go, I have no idea how those work. But I am very there have been many times where someone canceled, and it's very disappointing.
I mean, weren't you really mad when some of these bigger names just didn't show up?
I was disappointed. I was.
Who's one person that you wanted to see that you didn't get a chance?
Patrick Stewart. I want to see Patrick Stewart.
Did you?
To see him.
All right, so you sat around for a whole year, saying, "Man, I cannot wait to see my favorite celebrity." You paid $1,000. You had a continental breakfast. Didn't even show up.
That's what you call the house market back in a few years back. Well rested, well fed, well invested. You think no show.
No show.
Disappointed, yes, but honestly, you cannot be upset at Dragon Con for very long.
Well, how you say there's something for everyone, but
yes.
I mean, I personally have never been to a convention. I would like to go. I know Airedale, you and I were talking, and you were calling it the most idiotic thing in the world.
Well, I can tell one reason why you'd like to go, because I'm sitting here looking at all these pictures of these women dressed like Princess Leia during the Jabba the Hutt scene. And I mean, they are wearing nothing under these little clothes.
Well, technically nobody's wearing anything.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're enjoying it. They're really enjoying it.
Everybody's enjoying it.
Airedale's over here, and I like how he's using his iPad.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures.
He's like, I get to touch them as I scroll across the screen.
That's the whole purpose.
I mean, there are some really attractive women dressed up in these Princess Leia outfits.
I will not lie, that is a perk.
He's going to have calluses on his fingers from sliding across the screen.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking. There's and apparently I'm not the only one fascinated with it, or there wouldn't be 500 pictures of them on here.
But anyway, the people are definitely one of the big things you get to see there. Meet different people, see different people. And example, me and Miss Crit, we were just hanging out one night. That's one of the big fun parts of the convention is just people watching, just hanging out. It might sound simple, but it is fantastic.
Oh, there's plenty to watch from these pictures.
Oh, yes.
So where's your favorite spot to people from?
Do people watch from?
Yeah.
The bench. We do like the benches. It's hard to find benches or seats of any kind at Dragon Con, but when you do, you occasionally find these fun little treats, I guess you can call them. One in particular, we found a half-eaten bag of trail mix of some kind, a monocle, which was kind of weird, and a Magnum condom, unopened. And we just were thinking, what did we miss?
So is Colonel Clink having a bad day?
Pretty much. We're just thinking, what did we miss? That,
Hogan!
Here you go, Airedale.
I've left my monocle. Yeah, I know. I mean, there's just some fantastic pictures on here.
There are.
This is just amazing. I thought this was just a bunch of guys in black glasses walking around trading comic books.
Oh,
I had no idea that the nerds were getting sexy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look, Super Saiyan nerd. There we go.
Ooh.
They have far past that whole, everyone walking around, got the bad 5 o'clock stubble going on, Zachney everywhere. It's gotten a lot different nowadays.
Well, you know what I thought of the Dragon Con person? Have you guys seen have you seen that recent commercial? It's a State Farm commercial.
Poor State Farm.
Hey, they're getting free publicity.
They're going to lose so many people.
The commercial was it was a naive woman.
Yeah.
The guy's examining the car wreck with his iPhone app or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't know you could do that with State Farm. He's like, where'd you read that? She's like, the internet. The internet doesn't lie. And he's like,
yeah.
Anyhow, the French model boyfriend
I
walks
love
up.
that. I love that.
And that's what the
That's a
French
great
model
commercial.
is the ideal Dragon Con person when I envision in my mind.
Now, I will say, you still do find those people occasionally. There's no lie. They're who they are. They show up. But I will say that there are far more of the folks that are being picked up on the iPad over here. There are far more people like that going nowadays.
Yeah, I just find this amazing. We may be going next year, Crib Boy. We may
I
be
think
going.
That's fine. See if we can bring Dusty along with us.
I was planning to go this year, but it's just it didn't turn out.
It did.
But I don't want to spend my entire year looking forward to seeing my favorite star and then they cancel on me,
It really is one of those kind of risk things, but, I gotta say, out of the several years that I have gone, I've never been disappointed once, so, there's that.
I wouldn't either with these costumes.
No, it's hard to be disappointed.
Alright, so Airedale's over here, he's talking about the costumes. The only thing I'm hearing out of the corner of my ear is, hot woman, tape, duct tape, or something like that. Anyhow, tell me what were some of the best costumes. Like, don't they have a costume
Yes,
contest?
they have
like
several smaller costume contests, but the one big one for the entire weekend is called the Masquerade. And that's where essentially pretty much the biggest, best costumes are able to come into competition. And one in particular that comes to mind was this guy who, those wooden dinosaur skeleton models?
Yeah.
Essentially, this guy had made an entire giant suit. This thing had to be like 20 feet long, 10 feet high, and he was basically inside of it, almost operating it like some sort of big robot.
So was he like the dinosaur from Night at the Museum or something?
No. Well, you keep. I'll go get mine and I'll show him.
You have a costume?
No, it's not. It's a little model that he's talking about.
Yes,
okay,
it's
okay.
Essentially he had built it up around himself, and he was wearing it almost like. Do you ever see Aliens?
I saw Aliens.
The big robot suit?
Yep.
It was almost kind of like that, except a giant robot. Or not a giant robot, a giant dinosaur skeleton. And
like a
pretty
Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Yeah. It was a big dino skeleton that he had made, and it was just remarkably impressive. But one of the funny things was he said that he had a lot of material left over.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So what he did was he actually made a smaller version of it. And pretty much he had his daughter running around.
Oh.
Yeah, I just found him a picture. That's what that sound was.
I like Princess Leia better.
Well, that was really impressive, but one that was a lot more technically impressive was this woman. And there's this whole genre called steampunk, which...
what is steampunk for those that don't know?
Steampunk?
Well, you could technically call it when goths discovered the color brown. But essentially, to break it more down, sort of think of it as a sort of alternate history Victorian sort of thing. That's the best way I can possibly put it.
What was that movie? The one with Sean Connery and they had the big submarine, The League of Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes, sort of like that.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, yes. Very similar to that.
Which was Sean Connery's last movie.
Was it?
It was, so far.
That's a shame.
Well, he retired after that. And he said he didn't understand the script.
Yeah,
And that's why he was getting out of the business.
I don't think anybody understood that script very well.
No.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
But on the costume thing, there's this one steampunk one, which usually I'm not big on them, but this one was very impressive. It was actually a woman who had rigged an entire system up. She had her iPhone attached to her wrist, and with the simple click of one of her apps on there, she was able to actually make her, like, these wing pack that she had made actually full on activate and, like, open up right behind her without
Really?
Yeah. And I have no idea how she did it, but somehow she figured it out. And she was actually the one who won the entire masquerade.
Yeah, I think we're all just on our laptops right now, old iPad. And
I'm looking at pictures.
And I don't know. Like he's scoring through like 1,000 over there because.
Oh, it's just the iPad, dude.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Like some of them are pretty dainty. You know, some of them are pretty like you obviously didn't really do much, but.
Are you looking at just the costumes in general, or?
Yeah, just pictures.
I'm just looking at the female costumes.
See, this is an example of steampunk right here. That's a woman wearing a.
She looks like Sherlock Holmes' girlfriend.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like past, futuristic, involving steam mechanisms.
Yes.
If they had technology of today that was steam powered, I think.
Yes. And also, if anyone happens to be a fan of corsets, go to Dragon Con. You'll see far more of them than you would ever hope to see anyway.
So, were there fights going on, or like, what are some interesting things that happened this year that hasn't happened in previous years? Because this is your, 5th time going?
Let's see, as far as interesting things like fights and all going on, thankfully, everyone's usually pretty calm. But occasionally you will hear tell of somebody somewhere taking in too much alcohol and starting something somewhere.
So this is like comic book collectors running around with folded up comic books, whacking each other on the head, or
lightsabers, actually.
Lightsabers.
Wasn't there some kid recently that showed up at the airport? Yeah, there was a kid that showed up at the airport with his toy lightsaber, and somebody arrested him for it. I can't remember. Yeah, that's what.
Really?
Yeah, that's a topic we should have looked up.
well, someone,
that's a topic.
At lunch, as I said,
whoa, class.
I was lunch earlier today was, I thought we were going to do so much more. We were every time I brought someone in the group, someone in the group was like, "Oh, we'll just deal with it when it comes. I'm sure we'll come up with stuff off the top of our head."
I'm looking up lightsaber boy.
So it all sounds pretty interesting and stuff. And I think I was gonna go this year. Some things came up, financial reasons, and people dropping out. And then there wasn't too many big names for me to want to go. Like Shatner wasn't going. Did Adam West go?
He did.
He did. Did you see him?
He came this time.
Adam West came this time. Him and Burt Ward both. And,
really?
Yeah. Both,
yeah, that's cool.
Batman and Robin from the good old days. They're both there.
Nice.
I like
nice. No, I was expecting this to be a little bit more
critical.
Critical. That's a good way. That's a nice way to put it. Because Airedale sure was talking up a storm like, I don't understand how people go to that. It's blasphemy. He almost like by the end of his spills, he always sounds like Richard Nixon. I am not corrupt. And then he just hangs up the phone. But no, so I was expecting him to say a little bit more. He got convinced.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna hit Crit Boy. I was gonna be kind of mean to him a little bit for spending all that money
sirens,
walking around, looking at comic books and television stars who were just regular people like everybody else. But then I got on here and I started looking at these pictures. And,
the sirens of Dragon Con.
Yeah, the sirens of Dragon Con. I'm convinced. I'm going with you, Crit. I'm going with you, man. Next year, let's go ahead and get that hotel room.
Okay.
Whoa.
Not like that.
I'll bring the wife, of course. You are listening to The Rise.
Alright, so moving on to a new topic, bad restaurant experiences. Now, we've all had them. We've all been to a lovely, let's go to and, the hairy waitress spits in the food.
Alright, so when I was, I think I was like 16 or 17, we went to the steakhouse in a town that I won't mention the name of it. Everybody ordered the big porterhouse cuts, cowboy steaks, and all that. And so, I'm 16, so I'm going to eat anything. I could eat the whole cow if I wanted to. So I crammed this thing down, right? Everybody else eats. We get home. All of a sudden, I walk in the door, and I'm spewing. I mean, I'm spewing steak for yards. I get so sick that my father, who's about my size, actually has to pick me up and put me in the car and take me to the emergency room. And so when I wake up, I see this woman coming at me with a needle. She's getting ready to give me the IV, and I'm like, no, don't stick that in my wrist. And she said, but you're too sick, honey. You're too sick, honey. So right when I'm trying to defend myself and tell her I'm not too sick, what do? I turn my head over, and this bile just comes right out of my mouth. That's my worst restaurant.
That was your worst thing?
I almost died from a porterhouse steak.
Wow. Have you eaten one since?
I have. I've had some really good ones since, but yeah, I almost died from a bad steak. So,
Crit?
Well, let's see. I'm fairly lenient in the restaurant industry because I've worked at them for so long. I understand if the waitress isn't top of her game, but in particular, I have this one experience where it wasn't so much the restaurant itself, but I'll say the company that came with me.
Okay.
It was an ex-girlfriend that I was with, and she had a friend who she warned me was a little off-color. And it turned out this girl was a severe racist.
That's nice.
Yeah, and it was like one of those really... I didn't see it at first, and then our waitress happened to be from a race that she did not approve of.
Yeah.
And so she just starts instantly whipping to everybody. There's like 4 people in the group. She's like, let's not tip her. She's a horrible waitress. Let's not tip her.
Just because?
Yes, just because
of race.
Yes, this was like almost racist to a comedic extent. This is where...
Whoa!
I
Didn't go glass problems!
More glass. These coasters. But, so it was almost to a comedic level that this girl was racist. It was almost like where you think of something like they would do on one of those sketch shows.
Yeah.
But it turned out she was actually that racist. Wow. And it was funny because I spoke to her boyfriend later. We were just kind of hanging out, and he was like, help me.
So what did that do for your appetite, though?
Well, she whipped this out after we ate. I wasn't hungry after that. I was like, I don't want dessert.
I have a couple stories I'm going to share. One, it's off topic, not really. It has more to do with customer service than us as customers, not really, the restaurant at all. So this was back when I was a little kid. And he has a little bit of anger issues. We'll say that. And, like I remember, just to prove my point on the anger issues, there was this one time we were driving, and we were in Florida, I think it was, and the guy very gently, he didn't cut him off, he just got in front of him in traffic, and pissed. He's like, the effing dirty just cut me off! And like, so what he does, we're in a minivan, a Ford Windstar, and he swerves into traffic, and on the shoulder of the road, he accelerates to 75 miles per hour, in a downtown city.
And all the little kids were huddling
back. None of us are wearing our seatbelts. I think my sister's like, wee! We're getting amped up to go to Disney World, and this is just perfect. And so rolls down the window, I think back in, it was a power window, yeah. So he rolls down the window, and
back in the 90s?
Yeah, way back in the 90s. He had to manually hold the button, though. It didn't have the feature where it just rolls down nice and slow. So anyhow, he gets so mad that he just he gets right next to this guy, and he just yells obscenities like, "You stupid blue Smurf!" We'll just say that just because I'm not going to swear. And then he just, next thing I know, he's like, and then spit just goes flying from his mouth onto the guy's windshield, who then swerves and almost has a wreck because he doesn't know what's going on, and off goes with his family and us into the sunset. So that was anyhow. So that was he's come a long way. Yeah. But same vacation. We went to a and since they're not at fault, I will share the name of the company.
Yeah, you couldn't believe it.
So we went in one, and we all got ice cream in said restaurant. And apparently he didn't like it. So we're like, you buy the little cups or whatever. So we all had little cups, and all the little kids were like, ice cream, yay! And so we're eating, stuffing our fat little faces. And he apparently doesn't like his, because he takes a bite, he makes a weird face. And then you always have to take at least 2, though, to be sure. Yeah. So he takes the second bite, and he's like, just obscenities at the cup, like, stupid ice cream cup. And he takes the cup and he throws it on the floor. Just upside down, throws it on the floor, under the table. And he's like, come on, let's go, let's get out of here. And so we leave. And as we're leaving, the nice employees who were not of the same race were going to clean it up. And this is what we heard from the van. This is Scoop on the floor! Scoop on the floor! And they're running toward the door, pissed off. Scoop on the floor! To put it in retrospect, has anyone seen Bubble Boy at all?
Oh no.
Yeah, okay. There's a scene in Bubble Boy when he joins this competition, he wins $500, and he goes like, $500, and that's what it was, but Scoop on the floor.
Scoop on the floor.
So that was a bad restaurant experience, I would say so.
So I guess on this whole trip, all of you were just traumatized because was just going nuts on everything.
I think the worst part is when we hit a deer in Virginia.
Oh my god!
And it was a baby deer.
Oh god!
And one of our favorite movies was Baby. So, yeah. And so us are crying on the side of the road as the deer is kicking its legs.
Oh god!
And the cops are like, "Oh no, it's gonna be okay," and they just shoot it in the head.
Oh god!
On the side of the road. So a little bit of trauma.
Woo!
Led me to the person I am today. Anyone else have any good?
That's it for me. That was a good one.
No, I don't want to follow that one up.
Okay.
This whole show is just a piece of shit.
All right. So the weather is acting pretty crazy. We just had a hurricane come through. What was it?
We got. Let's see. I lost it on my thing. But there's a new one, Lester or something like that. I think that's the name of it.
It's the Adam family of hurricanes.
Yeah.
They're creepy and they know. Are followed up by Lester and they're running in.
Political correct hurricanes.
How do they choose the name for hurricanes? Does anyone know?
Well, it used to be all women, right?
Oh, really?
It used to be all women, and now they've changed it to
Leslie.
They have like a list.
Is it Leslie?
I think
Is
it's
it Leslie?
I
I thought it was Lester. Lester would be better, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah.
I think hurricanes should be named after grumpy old men. It's like, that way we can swear. I'm like, damn you, Lester! Damn you to hell!
Can you just imagine in all the areas where this thing's supposed to hit? How people
Well,
are just going nuts now, get ready for it.
Where is this one? I haven't heard. The last one I heard about was one that came through here.
This one's off of the coast of Newfoundland. So
so this is actually up in New England and stuff.
Yeah,
and
this is pretty far north.
Yeah, so they go pretty crazy up there. It's like, it's like the weather preparation they do in the South.
It'll snow.
Winter weather.
That is one of the funniest things. No, being raised in the northern states and Airedale,
Dusty and I both lived in the northern states, so we know what real snow is.
I'm from, and that's the funny part, because on the flip side, it's like y'all get snow, we get the heat all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it gets hot in like the northern states, you jump in a pool or you go, take off some clothes,
or you stay inside
where there's air conditioning.
Yes.
But down here,
you can't escape it.
you see one snow flurry.
Oh yeah, we
One.
freak out.
Everything is closed.
And I love it.
School boards meet. Superintendents go crazy. They close the schools because we're going to have 1/10 of an inch of snow.
And I love it. I think it's hilarious.
And it's funny because they're so unprepared down here, and they try to say they're so well prepared. That they're so prepared that 2 days later, after it's all gone, they got the sand trucks on the road, driving at 10 miles per hour.
We're putting down some precautionary.
We know it's 85.
In case it comes back.
We know it's 85 degrees outside now, but you can never be sure with that black ice.
For us, snow is like a bad horror movie villain. It's just like we're scared. We just want to make sure there's precautions in case it comes back.
And what's really disappointing is how much people will go out and they'll buy milk, right? You always gotta have milk for snow.
Don't forget canned food.
Gotta have bread. Gotta have chicken soup. So people they all run out to the grocery store and they buy up everything they can find. And then they get home and then they wake up the next morning and it's like there's some dust on the porch rail and that's it.
It's fun. I enjoy it. That's one reason I look forward to the winter seasons, is everybody going into that crazy panic state. I personally enjoy the snow. I see it as a good reason to give our refrigerator a break. I put drinks out in the cold, and actually it turns out they make it a lot quicker than the refrigerator does it.
But back to the hurricane prep, though. It's just, some hurricane prep, like boarding up the windows.
Boarding up the windows.
Taping down your toupee with double side tape.
And here's another thing about that. Prep, like boarding up the windows. If you live in an area where you're going to get hurricanes, are you going to be threatened by hurricanes?
Yeah.
Why do you need to go out and buy new plywood every freaking season? Why can't you just get some plywood, get it cut, get it ready to go on your windows, and put it in the garage? You always see people panicking going to the lumber shops buying new plywood. Maybe I just think differently from everybody else, but anyway.
Just make sure you use screws when putting it down, because nails, you'll have to tear the plywood all
I'm
up.
sure, but still.
Well, you know, with that new flood law, these people
might not
get reimbursed.
They're going to change it. We've had too many hurricanes this year. We have to raise the limit to 6 feet. 6 feet is considered a flood.
And if you didn't use the hex screw, then you don't
get the money.
You don't get the coverage.
Did somebody die in your household? No? Well, we're afraid you're not covered.
You only get... okay.
Yeah, we tried. We should have spent some time together first.
Now, you know, I was talking about the bad experiences of restaurants, and I guess it would fall into this category too, because we were on vacation when it happened.
Yes.
But let's go around. You know, all of us are from different aspects of life. We have poor and rich, the upper 2%, and the lower 98%. Okay, we'll just section it off as the iPads and the Toshiba. But anyhow, so let's go around. What are some of you guys' favorite, funniest favorite vacation moments of your life thus far? Now, I know, Airedale, you've been to many places, including abroad.
One little trip we had to Great Britain. Yes, Great Britain.
All right.
The Olympics. It was a couple of years ago. It happened to be a really hot summer that year. And oddly enough, the people in London, they just generally don't have air conditioners in their house.
Really?
They really don't need it, because I guess their summer temperatures really aren't, usually that bad. So anyway, we happened to show up there, the wife and I, during a week where they had a heat wave. And, in Europe, bathing standards are different from what they are here.
Really?
Yeah, they're
I knew they were back in the 1800s.
Yeah, they're still a little bit different.
They still sew you up in the sack when you go to sleep with your wife?
So anyway, we're getting onto the tube, and it's the middle of the day. It's probably close to 90 degrees there, and I guess those folks just aren't used to wearing deodorant because they never have a chance to sweat because it just doesn't get hot that often. But anyway, so I see this guy. He's got on one of these long sleeve, disco shirts, right?
Yeah.
The ones from the 70s that are made out of super thick polyester, right? So he's got this on, and he's coming onto the train, and he happens to reach up and grab one of the straps, and I see that the entire underarm of his shirt is wet. I mean, it's totally soaked, right? So we're on the train, the seats are crowded, so we're having to stand there, and we're holding on to the straps. And it stops at the next stop, and then people get off, and more people get on, and this guy keeps getting closer and closer and closer to where we're standing, right? Well, we start to smell. You can smell.
Well, I imagine that, yeah.
Yeah, the smell is coming. The smell is coming way ahead of it.
We've had a couple of incidences like that on some vacations pretty recently, where someone...
Or someone smelled. So the guy he keeps moving closer and closer, and then it gets to the point where I turn around, and the train kind of lurches or something, and here's this guy's underarm right in my face. My face goes into the wet part. It gets on my nose. It gets on my forehead. It gets on my chin. And the smell is like putrefaction, the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. And that's my worst vacation moment, I guess.
That is pretty bad.
Getting wet by the guy with the sweat.
Did you have something to wipe it off with?
I was coughing and spluttering, and my wife was like, "Oh my God!"
What did you say to the guy?
I didn't say anything. I mean,
really?
what could I say? He couldn't help it. He was just standing there, doing his thing, holding on to the strap, trying to stay upright. So yeah, face went into the underarm, just nasty, absolutely nasty.
Oh,
so there's mine.
That is. I love how you finish your so enthusiastic. So there's mine.
And the show just
Okay, so I guess my vacation story. One that I can think of is one that happened a while ago on a college trip. You know, you do the college trips, you go. So we go on our vacation with the college, right?
Down to Florida, right?
Down to Florida, right? Yeah, we go to Miami Beach, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, well, it's a lot of people. We have one particular student with us who he's notorious for not having the greatest hygiene. And, at
Is
one
this the one
point,
where you guys were in a van? You were like
Yes.
all in a van together,
We
so
were-
you were kind of stuck together, right?
we were kind of stuck together. We were on a van. We were within like that 5 to 10 foot area of each
Yeah,
other for
yeah.
a fair amount of time. And at one point, he looks over. He's like, "Grit." And I'm like, "What?" "I can't wait to get home." And I'm like, "Well, why? This is great. I mean, you know, we're down here. We're having a fun time. Everything's beautiful." And he's like, "I got to brush my teeth."
He didn't bring toothbrush.
Oh, okay. He said, "Oh, okay. It's not brush exactly. Okay, it's bad." He goes, "Well, I got to get home to clean my teeth." And I'm like, "Wait, didn't you bring your toothbrush?" "I did. I brushed 3 times. It's not working."
What?
Wait. Why would getting? Wait. Why? What do you mean? He's like, "I need my knife. It's not."
I need my knife. Oh my God.
Are we referring to the Swiss Army toothpick that comes with it? Please tell me we're just referring to
the toothpick.
No, I'm thinking he meant the knife. So yeah, he decided to confide in me that he needed his knife to clean his teeth.
Okay.
Which that was kind of.
You guys have set the bar on this one.
Yeah.
Armpit face.
Armpit face
Armpit face.
and knife teeth.
Yeah.
And in a van. You're stuck in a van with this guy.
Okay, you guys. Let me.
Oh! More glass.
Oh.
More glass. That's a reoccurring theme of the show at this point.
And you can count how many times we do it.
How many times we dropped some glass?
You'll get to experience one of these lovely vacation stories for yourself one day.
Yes. All right.
All right, I'm gonna try. Let's try. You guys raised it. I'm gonna try to pole vault over it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So, let's see. The year's 2005. It's me, 3 of my buddies. We're taking a kind of like sophomore trip. You know, just got out of sophomore. We're taking a mid-high school trip, and we decided to go up to a ski resort up in, somewhere I think in Upper West Virginia.
Oh,
So yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
You know, we were right up there. Everything's going good. Now, you know, you always get those trips, kind of like how you mentioned.
Yeah.
There's about, to pay for the cost, especially when you're a poor high school student, lower 2% of the high school students, you have to at least get like 10 people to go on the trip to fund it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're all riding up there. We're all excited. We're going to go skiing. It's going to be a good time, whatever. So there's maybe about 3 people I actually associate with, and the rest are just who the hell cares, you know, no names.
Guys that showed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just money to fill seats. And unfortunately, though, I have to room with one of those money to fill seats. So it was already awkward, and it's always fun when you get to a new hotel with a person that you don't normally room with. And it's kind of like you take the chalk and draw a line across. This is my craft.
This is my bed. Stay away! Don't come over here! I don't know who you are!
You're gonna kill me in my sleep.
You may have hair in your nose! It's just random, sorry.
Anyway.
So anyhow, you know, one of the things that always is a big factor is where to place your towel in the bathroom.
Yes.
Right.
And, you know, I love how hotels typically only accommodate one towel.
And you can't label it either, so you
No,
don't know
yeah.
this towel is which.
So you have to say like,
Yeah.
I put my towel on the back of the door
Yeah.
and hope they don't use it for something else.
And then that's automatically saying, this is my territory, don't frickin' touch it.
Exactly. So I think it was me, one of my friends, and I got lucky enough to room with one of my friends because it's 3 per bedroom.
Yep.
Me, one of my friends, and then the oddball out. And how it went was my towel was, I think I showered last. I don't know. It doesn't matter the shower order, but I showered. I think second. My towel was on back of the door. The other person's towel was somewhere, I can think on the bar behind the toilet.
Right.
And the third person's, they just threw it on the counter. You know, the oddball just threw it on the counter. And how it went was the third person, they went third, and the oddball went third. And, after, I guess, we went to dinner and we came back and nature called. So, I went to the bathroom, to say the least. That's kind of embarrassing to say on the air. So I'm sitting there.
You are a human.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah, that's the best of my knowledge. So I am sitting there, and just out of pure boredom, while I'm sitting on the golden throne, I am counting the towels because making sure no one's gonna touch my property.
Anybody touch my territory?
So I'm looking at the door. I'm like, there's mine. Here is person number 2's, and this next to me on the counter must be oddballs. And whoa! I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm almost afraid to look back because the towel was brown. On a certain location, it was a pure white towel, pure bleach white. So I look over, and there is literally a piece of shit next to my face. And if you listen to the last episode, you might have heard shit on the towel. That's where that line came from. Because there is just a chunk of fecal matter, not where it was supposed to be. And I flipped it, the towel's kind of hanging over the counter.
Was this fresh and juicy? Or
I wasn't taking the role of a paleontologist trying to decide what era it came from. And
it belongs in a museum.
If it was prehistoric or not. But what I did do was I did flip up the towel so it was not in my view or next to my face anymore. And I don't even think at that point, I don't even think I finished. I think I wiped and ran. And
did this person, did they just do it?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. The only thing I could come up with is the fact that you're showering, which means you use soap and water and apply it and lather. You lather your body. And you rinse and repeat if necessary. Yes. The repeat is very important to that.
For some people, it is.
Yeah. If you can't do it right the first time, then do it 3 or 4.
He didn't repeat.
I don't know why he did. But anyhow, the only thing I could assume was that after they showered, they went to wipe, dry off, and when they wiped down there was shit came to his ass. How do you shower and clean up in a situation like that? So, furthermore, I know we're trying to be swear-free, but this. Furthermore,
so you're telling me that he went for so long without using toilet paper or a bidet that it was crusted up. He takes a shower. He doesn't do all the soaping he's supposed to do, and it gets wet. It gets wet, and then when he's drying off,
no, it wasn't like that. It was a chunk. It was a chunk.
So it wasn't just a stain.
It wasn't just a stain. It was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. It was more like, I guess you're trying to multitask, and instead of just using the toilet, it's like, well, I'm drying it off, and I might as well just squeeze a little bit. And anyhow, it's like the Play-Doh factory. But anyhow. So from this moment on, whenever you hear, whenever someone's imposing on you a little bit, just stop shitting on my towel. Stop shitting on my towel. But I showed my other friend, by the way. I showed my friend.
And what did they have to say?
They were speechless. And not in the good way.
I would have had plenty to say, I think.
Well, it's kind of odd when Oddball's sitting there just smiling at you.
Did he ever acknowledge that he was there? He never acknowledged it.
And the worst part about it, we never got new towels.
Oh my God. So we went on and dried off of the tree.
We were there for 3 days.
Oh my God.
We never got new towels.
Did you start sleeping with yours after that to make sure it was protected?
I bought LifeLock and I had ADD track it for me.
Man,
for the remainder.
That's just unimaginable.
So needless to say,
you would have thought the guy would have tried to cover it and say, "Hey, who shit on my towel?"
No.
Just that didn't occur.
The best thing about it though is they didn't even try to hide it. They left it in plain sight. Even though you throw a towel down, you're gonna see what plain sight. It's on the counter with shit, and that's it.
Just this bulb of shit.
It was an atrocious museum for the restaurant. And
man,
that was
you won.
It shark and threw some bombs down at it while you were there.
Sweat in the face was nothing to that one.
Okay.
These all were males, right? There was no
Yeah,
females.
they're all males.
Yeah,
They're all
I don't think you'd ever have that happen with females.
I don't know. I do hear female bathrooms are a lot worse.
Well, yeah, I've heard
That's
that.
true. I've
that.
heard of this.
That was bad.
So that was great vacations that we've had.
Yeah.
You know, conflict. Airedale's philosophy is that a great vacation is nothing.
That's right. It's
Without
full of conflict. It's got to have conflict.
So memorable these things were. Okay. All right. Let's tone it down. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. What? Now, Airedale has expressed to me, this is your first. You've listened to the show.
I
right?
listened to the show. Very good show. That's why I'm on it.
Except for
Well, a couple of things.
Except for that one time.
except for that one time when it was just.
45 minutes on The Dark Knight
It was like
Rises.
I think it was like an hour and 20.
Yeah, it was an hour and 20. I skipped through 45 minutes.
I listened for 2 days, and on the second, God made the earth. And I
It just doesn't end.
I begged him to destroy it. But
Love the Julia Childs, though. Love the Julia.
Yes.
yeah, we need a
That's fun.
Julia Child's upcoming. Hope maybe an episode
Try to get her
5
back
or 6.
on,
Yeah. But you broke it.
Oh, shit.
You broke it.
Oh, I can't say that word on the air. Although we just finished saying it for 10 minutes.
We gotta leave it. If you don't understand, he broke
Shit
another.
on the
He broke his third style.
Broke the dinosaur.
The dragon.
Oh, the dragon.
Yeah,
the dragon.
It's Anyhow, so we were talking. You listen to the show, and you're not really. You're like the old '80s elderly person when it comes to video games.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, this youth with their toys and gadgets, I don't understand. Let me go back to my iPod.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like the games that we first had, like in the late '80s, like when we got our first computer. I just killed the dragon again. When we got our first computer, my favorite game was called Sopwith Camel, and it was just this game where you used the arrow keys on the keypad, and you just flew this little Sopwith Camel up and down over the hills. And these German guys would come at you, and you would shoot them with a Sopwith Camel, and they would crash, and you would just fly on, and that was the game.
That was it.
And I would spend 2 hours playing that game. I just thought that was the most fascinating thing I'd ever seen because it was all happening on a screen.
And you haven't touched the game since.
I haven't touched it since. No, I played the biggies. I played Warcraft and Starcraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm just not into all the online stuff. That just.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, I like to make up my own scenarios. I like
So
to
you
make
kind of
my
you're
own.
like the old board school Dungeons and Dragons type person then.
We've done that.
That was
Done
fun.
that. Some of one of the first computer games that we had. My wife and I used to play this. It was a text game.
Yeah.
So you had to draw maps to go through. It was a dungeon game, but you had to draw maps from the clues, and you had to make choices on which way you wanted to go. And so when when there was a fight, there was no graphics. The computer would just ask you, "Do you want to fight this monster?" And you'd say yes or no, and then you'd hear it go blah, 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 and then it'd say you won or you died.
Yeah.
And that was it. But you played it by text, and you had to draw maps to do it.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was happening as much in your head as it was on the screen.
Well, what's one of your favorite video games, Scribbly Boy?
Well, there are a lot that I do enjoy, but I think one of my favorites has to be one we actually talked about the other time, Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
I gotta
yes.
say, yes, we covered that, so I guess I can go to another one I really like and more recent.
Instead of just repeating ourselves, I would
Yes.
prefer that.
Skyrim.
Okay, that is a
Skyrim.
very good game, yeah.
Skyrim was one of the things I enjoyed so much about it had to be the openness of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could pretty much just do
See,
It's
whatever.
a Skyrun.
Skyrim. Are you looking it up right
I'm
quick?
looking at
Look it up right quick. Crit, you keep talking about it, and because I want Airedale to see the.
You want to expose him to
Yeah, I do, because I want to tell. No, the cool thing about this game, though, it's very different. If you're in a plane, not like on a field,
like an open field.
Right,
Yeah, an open
right,
field,
right.
and you see a mountain, and you're like, I want to go there. Usually in games you can't, because typically there'll be some sort of invisible barrier, or you have to the map's closed or something like that.
Yeah.
In there's certain regions. This one, if you see a mountain range way off in the distance, you can walk all the way there and up the mountain.
And what are you gonna find? Like people to fight?
Oh well,
or
you guys,
monsters
there's
to
dragons
fight,
and stuff to
or-
fight on. There's dragons and
That's the fun part. Dragons come up randomly.
Yeah.
There's 843,287 people apparently playing it online now. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
no, it's not. It's not together. It's single player online. It's not like World of Warcraft. It's just a single person campaign.
Oh, so you don't campaign with each other?
No,
or?
no.
Okay.
But it's pretty neat. You should look up a trailer if you can find one.
Okay, I'm looking.
But I gotta say that it's one of my more favorite games that have come out recently. If for no other reason, it's openness and just how much you can do with it.
Yeah, you can do a lot. It is a hard game to get back into once you put it down, though. But
I believe it.
I really was impressed with the graphics and just the storyline of that.
Really, it's one of those that has like multiple storylines.
Well, it doesn't want to show me the pictures, but
Airedale is just confused on how to even use it.
yeah.
Hold on, he can't even. He's like, play a video game. I can't even use my iPad. No, just watch this.
All right.
He seemed so good at this earlier.
What's that?
Navigating
I was
that thing.
looking at the
I'm gonna leave this.
Dragon Con women.
At the ladies of Dragon Con.
This was great on that.
It's because his fingers have too many blisters on them from scrolling too much.
I looked at the graphics. I'm impressed.
Okay, might try.
I watched the trailer. Might try it.
Not today, because
Not today.
I got too much upper class stuff I gotta worry
Too
about.
much upper class.
I gotta eat
stuff.
toys.
Have a yacht and fine wine to drink.
He
Yes.
does have a yacht.
I do have a yacht.
You thought I was making a joke?
Yeah,
I
I really do have one.
Well, my favorite video game, I'm gonna have to choose. I'm sure you've heard of Zelda.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It's a long game too. Back in those days, games were pretty short, and it was about a 30-something hour game.
Yeah.
And they have a trailer.
Yes.
Watching the trailer.
Pretty good. The graphics back in the day
Amazing.
were really great back in the day.
Mm.
Now, they're still pretty good now, but
They hold up all right.
yeah. Well, they redid them for the 3DS version.
Yes.
And they actually look a lot better.
Mm.
I remember like the Rainbow Bridge right at the end where you fight Ganondorf in the
Yes.
first one.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like this weird a thin rainbow transparent bridge type thing. And in the new one, it has rails and looks really cool and actually looks structured. It's really nice.
Cool.
But it was a great epic game. It was kind of like Skyrim, where it had back in those days the open world feel, where it's mostly a semi-closed map though.
Uh-huh.
But back in those days, it was really good. And the fact that you could do a lot of things like fish wasn't heard of back then. You could go fishing, you could just talk to people,
Just
get little side quests.
Yeah, openness of it.
It's one of the good ones you can keep going back to.
Yeah.
Any, are you having success over there?
Yeah, I finally got one up. It's a bunch of people dancing now.
Are you on?
He's looking at the
It's
one
people
from Japan.
dancing.
He's looking at the 80s Japan commercial.
This is no.
People
Yeah,
listening
they're
know
dancing.
what the
They're dancing. That's dancing. I know what that is.
Oh my lord!
Peter
this
Pan
is
looking girl
this
there
is-
dancing away.
he is looking at the old TV show.
No, it's not the old TV show. It's the old Japanese commercial for the very first one on
Is that what it
NES.
is?
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Go back. This is boring radio, folks. This is
Yeah.
boring.
how it is.
We'll need to get back to shit on a towel.
All right, so Airedale is watching the trailer, and give us your comments as you view this thing. Let us. Now, this is like I said. He doesn't play video games. Doesn't even support them.
Well, no. I do. I play some. I just don't have all the big systems. I still do it on my PC.
Yeah.
So.
Now, this one is for the 3DS, which we were just talking about. It's newer graphics.
Okay. All right. There's Peter Pan girl.
And there's the princess.
It looks like Donkey Kong with chicks.
Okay. So that brings us to drumroll, please. Drumroll, please.
Drumroll, freeze! Out the drumroll. Dog bark.
Mascot.
The Random Banter. All right, we're gonna let Airedale, the guest of honor,
Oh, good.
select randomly. Mix it up a little bit. Get a good one. They're all boring.
Don't drop it.
Watch me get one of my own. Best prank you ever played is what I drew out.
All right.
Well, the best prank I ever played never happened because we tried to do the putting a kid's hand in warm water and make them wet themselves. Tried it 3 nights in a row in camp. Never happened. Kid never wet his pants. So that was the best prank I never got to play, I guess, or tried to play.
Okay.
I got one. Go ahead. I'm gonna say mine for last.
Save your
It's gonna be
okay.
interesting.
See, growing up, I had a hard time deciding if I wanted to do pranks because I have an older brother who just kind of had this weird thing about if I did something, he had to go one up it worse.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to start a war, but one that I kind of enjoyed more recently was me and actually Dusty were at a friend of ours' house, and I'd gotten there before him, and I was in the car, and he drove up. He didn't see me, so I waited for him to get dead in front of my car, and he just laid on the horn. And he just looked like someone had just whipped a gun out on him.
I jumped 10 feet in the air, and I almost had shit on a towel.
So that was probably my best prank that I can recall.
All right, we reverted a lot back.
I'm killing the dragon. I'm killing the dragon.
It's breaking it. I know nothing was even wrong with it. He's like,
Broke its beard.
let me see this damn dragon. How can I mess it
dragon.
up? All right. So the best prank I ever pulled was actually on my literature teacher
Oh, okay.
that I had in 11th and 12th grade.
Oh.
And it's pretty good because he was a real stiffler, you know. And one of his things that he loved was grammar and grammar lessons.
Yeah.
And boy, did we have to, like, if he was absent for one day, he would make you do a stack of grammar stuff, and it would be like 20 pages. Wow. And then if it wasn't, they'd say, why isn't it done? It's like, gee, I don't know. And, so anyhow, he was absent for about 3 days in a row, and we had approximately like 60 grammar assignments. Needless to say, when he got back, his grammar teacher's edition book was gone.
Now, you and me went to the same high school. I think I remember hearing through the grapevine about this.
It stayed in the trunk of my car for the remainder of the year. And boy, was he pissed off. And then the last day of school, senior year, we were cleaning up the lockers. I handed it to some random freshman. I'm like, give this to that guy up there. Because he was at the end of the hall watching. He's like, hey! You clean out your locker! Hurry up! Get back to class! And he was just yelling at kids as they were roaming down the hall.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so the kid just goes up to him, like, has that, like, third world country, like, please, sir, Oliver, can I have some more soup?
Yes.
You know? The student's like, here, sir, this kid asked me to give this to you. And he looks down and he's like, where did you get this? And I'm all the way down the other end of the hallway. And the kid just points. And the teacher starts like frantically looking, like dodging his head and looking. And I run out the door, and that was it. And I think that is the greatest prank.
That's a terrible thing to do to somebody. A terrible, terrible thing. You should have been caught. You should have been caught.
I'm sure if I ever tell him, it'll make for a good laugh. So that's pretty much it. I mean, anyone got anything to add?
Enjoyed myself. I know that. This was fun. This was fun. Coming down and mixing with the regular people from my ivory tower where I practice arts. Sail back on the yacht. Yeah. I gotta pick up the limo outside here in a minute.
Alright, as always, guys, if you'd like to find us on Facebook, go to www.facebook.com/TheRise2012. As you know, our YouTube channel, but this is for other people out there. YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/TheRise2012. If you like to submit any topic ideas, random banter ideas, segment ideas, or anything under the sun, please feel free to email us at therise_rises@live.com. And please, if you'd like to download this, follow our link to MediaFire, which will be in the description below. The main theme credits are credited to Everything Instrumental Edit by Ades Vapor, and you are listening to The Rise.
Yeah.